we have a brand new character request for today and for this Thursday. And as you can see, it's a brand new Fairly Odd Parents character. I've done just before I get into Mr. Turner or Timmy's dad. That's basically what they call him in this show. They don't really drop his name because we know Hugh Neutron as Jimmy Neutron's dad. We know Judy Neutron as Mrs. Neutron. You see what I'm saying? So, but it's different in regards to Timmy's dad or Mr. Turner. But we all know that he's known as Timmy's dad. Before I get into this character request, is some other things that I end up finding out. I'm not gonna show the clips. I'm not gonna tell who has a particular taunt. I don't want to give away too much spoilers or anything like that, so I didn't want to take that risk. But it looks like, nobody else is talking about it, so I just took it upon myself to mention it just to get some hype around the what could possibly be a separate update, maybe a surprise update, or maybe it'll probably be included with Rocco's update. Who's there to say? We don't know what's going to probably happen with this particular information I'm about to share. It looks like we're going to be getting some brand new taunts for these characters that you can see on the screen. Not everybody, the reason why I'm keeping it on the screen for a little bit is because with this information, not every single character that's in this game right now is going to have these brand new taunts. We're getting new taunts at some point. I'm not sure if everybody's going to have it, but from what I've seen, not every single character is going to have a new alternate taunt to be a part of this. Maybe it's going to be real, maybe some kind of real update, maybe it could get scrapped, maybe the developers might backpedal and say, well, we'll add it into the game, and then will probably end up making a last minute decision and not implementing these new taunts that we're going to have. So I'm not going to say which character is going to have new taunts. Not everybody got them. We don't know. Some of the characters that don't have the taunts or the new alternate taunts are probably going to have them maybe by surprise. They might even throw us a bone. You never know. So I just wanted to get that out there. So let's just bring up the roster, just as usual. Just talking about these characters we don't know, but I'll just say some of the new characters that we have are definitely gonna have them, and then some more from what I've seen. But I don't know, it could get changed. We're gonna definitely get some new taunts, so that's just a little quick announcement. But I didn't want to just make a short video. New taunts coming soon to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I didn't want to make a little short video like that, so I thought I'd tie it into this with this brand new character, and I think a lot of people would like this character to be in here and the battle of the dads, and maybe he can take on Hugh Neutron, and I think maybe he will pose a major challenge to Hugh Neutron. And we're going to talk about his backstory, and we're going to talk about stages, costumes, and more that I did some research, and just my own ideas. I don't want to bite off anybody else's ideas, but nobody got a video about this character. Nobody else is talking about the new taunts. Nobody else is talking about these different characters that could be implemented in this game for different character potential from Nick Jr. and different shows. So it's my series, and then just different ideas that I like sharing. So whether or not these characters get in, it's still fun to talk about the potential and what that character is capable of, whether it's a protagonist or an antagonist, or in other words, a hero or a villain. But we're going to talk about Timmy's dad and just his backstory. I'm going to talk about and mention first things first. I love just sharing the information just in case you guys don't know who this character is, and allowing you guys to get to know he or she, whomever it could be, for these particular requests that you guys mentioned. But Mr. Turner, or basically Timmy's dad, is usually a goofy character. He's just as goofy as Hugh Neutron, and he's just in the world of Fairly Odd Parents. Any other goofy characters that you can probably obviously think of if you watch the show and see most of the episodes. Cosmo, who is one of Timmy's fairy godparents or fairy godparents that helps him grant wishes. So even though he's goofy, he's still there for him to back him up, and if he needs something, and can definitely look out for him. But Timmy's dad is definitely just as funny, if not funnier, than Cosmo, and he's just known as one of the silly, goofy characters from the show, from Fairly Odd Parents, and being Timmy's dad. and that's what they call him. And just recently doing some research, I didn't even really take the time to really even think about it. It's like they never really name drop what is his name, what is his actual name, in comparison to Hugh Neutron. We know that's Hugh, it's Jimmy Neutron's dad, but it wasn't the case for him. It was Timmy's dad, or Mr. Turner, basically. But we never really found out what his name was. But he's one of the funniest characters alongside of Cosmo. And something else that I almost forgot to mention is that he actually beat up a alligator, if you can believe it. And that just shows how strong he is and what he's capable of, and with his character potential, how powerful he can be. And he can definitely have a well-deserved spot on this roster if they can get somebody from the Fairly Odd Parents universe. It doesn't have to just be Timmy Turner with Cosmo and Wanda and maybe some other characters, but Timmy's dad is definitely one of the best characters that can be implemented in this game, and he's going to be just as funny, and almost as if it's maybe like a meme sort of character they can add on to the roster to be able to expand the character potential and so much more. But that's just all I can really just talk about and share as far as Timmy's dad for his backstory. He's his dad, and he works at the Pencil Nexus, which is actually one of the stages I selected. So I'm going to get into the stages in a matter of seconds. But that's all we really know about him. He's goofy, he's silly, and so much more. And he's Timmy's dad, and just one of the funniest characters in the show. But that's his little backstory. I didn't really find anything else out about him, and if anybody else wants to chime in and share some more fun facts about him, that'll be fine too in the comments. But him beating down a giant alligator to save Timmy Turner's life, that definitely shows his character potential for this particular request, and him being able to belong in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl if they can make it happen. But let's get into the stages. We got Pencil Nexus that I basically already brought up from his backstory which is the place where he works at. It's a pencil creating company that Mr. Turner works for, or Timmy's dad works for, and the boss there is Mr. Leadley. And I thought this could be a perfect fit because something else I almost forgot to mention. Timmy's dad is also known as the pencil pusher at his business, or at the company that he works at. So it's one of his names, or one of his nicknames. Let's get the pencil pusher in this game. So it's just a little nickname for him from the show. So I found that out from digging from this particular business that he works for. And some other identical stages that I brought up similarly with Chester McBadbat and my Timmy Turner requests or character ideas videos. I put in the Dimmsdale Dimmadome, and then the Dimmsdale Park. I also put in there, and then I put, just as a last stage, Timmy's house could be some kind of iconic stage that could come out with Timmy's dad to be into this game for a roster, all-in-one DLC pack for paid DLC, of course. But those are all the stages. Let me know what you guys think for those particular locations. I think those would be more ideal. I didn't want to put Fairy World in there because I don't think it really would make sense to come out with Fairy World when he doesn't even know about the fairies at all. But he's actually seen. The funny thing is it's been like, I think one of the episodes where he was using the battering ram to invade Timmy's room to see what he's up to and check on him and whatnot. He actually saw Cosmo. He called him a green man or something like that. I forgot what he said to him. He didn't even know. He didn't even know who he was. He didn't even mind him at all. So I just didn't think the fairy world would be an ideal space for him, or a stage to come out with him if he does get added into the game. They definitely should come out with some of these other stages that I mentioned to fit him the most. Somebody like Timmy Turner could go to fairy world because he's been there before. He knows about it. And just if they were to make Cosmo and Wanda individual characters or a duo, I think they personally should be with Timmy Turner anyway to help him out in the fight and grant wishes. That could be an identical stage for him anyway. But now it's time for the costumes. We're going to get into the alternate outfits for him. I did some digging some of these outfits that I don't remember because it's been so long since I've been watching, since I watched the show. His original outfit, he's gonna come out with his obvious office shirt, his pants, and his necktie and belt. So I think this will be the perfect original outfit for when he comes out as DLC. But some other alternate costumes that could be paid DLC, maybe they can come out with an item shop possibly to put them on these particular items or these particular outfits in a separate store. They could put it into the game as an idea. I selected Dyno Dad because this is one of my favorite episodes. It was Mighty Mom and Dyno Dad, that episode where Timmy's mom and his dad were superheroes and they had superpowers. How cool would that would be to see in this game? And just from the color variations from these characters, they look really good in these different outfits. Dino Dad or Mighty Mom, or basically Dino Dad, since we're talking about Timmy's dad for this DLC. That's a nice costume, and he'll look like a superhero with his cape. So it's like a dark blue, and he has a yellow cape. So I thought this would be pretty cool for another additional alternate costume. Nog-Man, and just doing some research. This is the when he dressed up as Nog-Man, he became a superhero. Speaking of heroes, by the way, this was the Christmas theme episode, or the Christmas theme alter ego of Timmy's dad, and this appeared during the Merry Wishmas episode. So I had to research and do some digging because I didn't just want to throw it out there. You guys can look it up yourself. You could type in Nog-Man for Mr. Turner or Timmy's dad. You're gonna get a look at this costume to be able to see what it looks like. And he had just the whole story with this is that during the Merry Wishmas episode, he had a one time wish coupon, and to grant anything that he wanted. And this, out of everything that he wanted, for his only one single individual wish, he wished to become a superhero with eggnog. As silly as it is, because he loves it so much, but he transformed into an eggnog based superhero called Nog-Man. So I thought this would be a nice alternate costume that I think people would purchase as well, that can come out with him maybe as a release. And then some other ones, the pencil pusher, he had that when he was wrestling against the Crusher, when he destroyed him, and he was dressed as the pencil pusher in a wrestling ring. It was almost like a WWE sort of reference in a way. I think it's called a CCW or something. I forgot what it was called, but it was from the episode when he was battling against Crusher. And of course he got dominated, but I'm surprised he didn't even end up winning the match, considering the fact that he destroyed a giant alligator. So maybe he wasn't really trying. But the pencil pusher outfit, I put that in there that he could wear. And then last but not least, the Squirrely Scout Troop Leader from the Scouts Honor episode for Fairly Odd Parents, that I did some research for it as well. Then I didn't know if, I'm not going to put this in the list, but I put the ping pong outfit when he was playing ping pong with Timmy, but he was with a different version of Timmy because he had swapped bodies with an animal. Was it a beaver or something like that? I forgot who it was. Or a gerbil? Timmy? I think that's what it was. It was a gerbil version of Timmy that he had swapped bodies for. He swapped bodies with a gerbil on accident, and the wish kind of messed up. So Timmy's dad didn't even recognize him. See what I'm saying? Just so goofy. He didn't even recognize his own son being a gerbil from his face, playing ping pong with him outside in the backyard. So I put his ping pong outfit in as an alternate potential outfit for him to wear. So it's just an idea, but I didn't want to really put it into the list, but I'll just keep it in there anyway as something additional. So he has all those amazing costumes that he can wear and more. But I had so much fun coming up with these ideas. And then the taunts animations. And just with the whole episode with the Wishmas or Christmas theme episode, I came up with arcade quotes and different things that he could say that he says from the show. And when he was sleeping with eggnog, with a carton of eggnog next to him in bed. He said, egg, nog. Every time he would snort, egg, nog, eggnog. And when he was the pencil pusher to role play, he said, I'll erase you from existence. I think that's what he said during his match against Crusher, but he got destroyed. So his pencil pusher outfit or his wrestling costume, he can be wearing that and saying that in the arcade. Or maybe that could be something that he could say as a battle intro. But that's just an idea, an additional thing that he can say. They can do it how they want to. Whether it's a battle intro or something that he could say as an arcade quote, they have a lot of different voice lines for him. And it'll be a lot of fun. And then that iconic girly scream from the show that he does, it could be like a knockout voice line when you eliminate him. So I came up with that as my own idea. So also did something with this particular scream that he does, the girly scream that he does in the show. I came up with it as part of my moveset for him. Silly, goofy moveset, but that could be extremely powerful. So, and then the most iconic quote, Dinkleberg. He just hated his rival, his neighbor, his next door neighbor, his new moved in neighbor, the Dinklebergs. And he will always just be so competitive, and everything that will happen, everything that's negative or anything that goes wrong, it's Dinkleberg. It's Dinkleberg. It was Dinkleberg. Curse you, Dinkleberg. It's just everything like that. That'll be really nice to see in this game for a voice line, and I think a lot of people will really enjoy that. And it's one of the quotes that people think of, outside of his love for Eggnog and so much more, and being the pencil pusher for his wrestling outfit or his costume or his nickname. Dinkleberg is the main quote that can belong with this character. And then some other ones that I found out just doing some research and watching some clips. This could be a winning animation quote. So when he wins and he's in the winner's circle, he says, "Now I'm gonna make ice cream out of bird seed and gum." So I got this from where I guess when Timmy Turner was trapped in the internet, and he actually built a computer from all these different ridiculous supplies, and he used a gerbil or a hamster as its main power supply. But he made a working computer, so it just shows his intelligence that's being underused, of course, as a goofy character. But when he tries, he's definitely going to be a good character to be in this game. And I thought this would be a funny winning animation quote. I'm gonna make ice cream out of seeds or bird seed and gum. And then just another little safe taunt that I came up with just to wrap up the animations. I thought he could drink eggnog in celebration. It could be a winning animation. I don't know what I wanted to put with this particular animation. He can drink eggnog or just chug it, basically. Eggnog in a winner circle in a winning animation, or it could be a silly taunt. Because no one really eats food or doesn't really drink anything. See what I'm saying? The only character that eats some kind of food is Michelangelo. Michelangelo, he'll eat a slice of pizza. Tasty. But nobody in this game drinks anything. So Timmy's dad can be the first one drinking some kind of beverage. See what I'm saying? With eggnog. So I thought that'll be something that could be more ideal for this character, for his animations. But now it's time for the moveset. In closing, I had fun, and I try to make some good moves to reference episodes. And I want to start with this battering ram. That was the first thing that came to mind of how he can fight. His parental battering ram that he ordered on the internet to barge into Timmy's room. They were just doing it. It was not just Timmy Turner's room, but Trixie's parents was doing it. AJ's parents were barging in. Just everybody's parents from the neighborhood of Dimmsdale was using this parental battering ram. So I thought this would be an iconic move that he can use to unleash some offense. Just some little ideas. So this parental battering ram will be a running attack that I came up with, and he can use this battering ram, this newly ordered item from the internet, to charge right into the enemy. So it'll be a perfect running attack and for some good knockback. So if you got enough damage on the character or that particular enemy or whoever you're going against, whether you're online or offline, you'll be able to launch with the battering ram. So moving on, Eggnog. I wanted to really implement something with his love for eggnog and make it as a projectile attack. So this was just an additional idea. So since he drinks eggnog, why not have it as a projectile. So Timmy's dad can share his love for eggnog by tossing cartons of eggnog at the enemy, and then as a little bit of something different, it was just a regular projectile attack. I just wanted to slide in and give it some kind of debuff to slow the enemy down. So if you get hit by the eggnog or a carton of eggnog, you're gonna move slow. Your mobility is gonna be turned down. So I wanted to do something like that to make it a little bit extra unique. And then he was playing the bongos as well. I was watching different clips. So this was his favorite instrument. So Timmy's dad can jam out by playing his favorite instrument of the bongos. He was making all that noise, and as he was playing the bongos, he was creating an earthquake. So it gave me the bright idea of maybe having a bongo shockwave attack where he can bring out a set of bongos and start playing them, and he can create massive shockwaves across the field that can inflict damage on the enemy. See what I'm saying? So I thought this would be something. And in this move, I just wanted to make some kind of reference to Dinkleberg. These developers can definitely do something like this. Why not make a move that has the name of Dinkleberg in it? Because he hates them. So I called it Curse You Dinkleberg with light attacks. And when he was so upset from watching some of the clips, he actually used a chainsaw to cut a bagel. Usually, who would use a chainsaw to cut a bagel at the dinner table? So it's just how goofy he is as a character, and I thought this would be some unique, funny light attacks where he can wear like a hockey mask and something where he was wearing of some sort while using the chainsaw. So he can attack with a flurry of chainsaw swings and attack with this chainsaw to cut through the enemy, just like he did with the bagel that he was cutting through in one of the particular clips that I was watching when I was trying to come up with movesets for him. So I thought this would be funny and something with the name Dinkleberg in his moveset to be just for some fun, unique moves for his moveset. And then the girly screaming, I actually put this in my moveset so he can create supersonic sound waves that can temporarily stun the opponent. Even though it's not gonna inflict damage on the opponent, he can stun You.From and be screaming so loud it'll hurt your ears. Or as they say, they're screaming so loud, making all that noise, it'll make your ears bleed, but it'll I was gonna say dismember on accident, but it'll temporarily disable any sort of movement from the player or the whoever he's going against on the battlefield, Nigel Thornberry or You.From, one or the other, anybody he's going against. If you get hit and caught in the supersonic sound waves of his girly screaming, you will be stunned. And then I came up with Homewrecker as a down air spike for one of his moves. It made me think a little bit of Bugs Bunny with his mallet, but this was something realistic because I saw this in a clip where Timmy's dad destroyed a full house to the ground with a hammer. It just shows what he's capable of. So I thought this would be perfect. I just called it Homewrecker. So he can use this same hammer that could be used for crushing the enemy and as a spike move. So you're edge guarding, you can use his hammer to knock the enemy off the stage and spike them down to make sure they stay off. And then a recovery move, I kind of struggled with this, to be honest, but I wanted to come up with something a little bit funny. I could have used I could have him maybe transform. See how Cat Dog, I don't want to just make it like this. Just to wrap up his recovery move, this is the last one. I didn't want to make it identical to Cat Dog's because they just fly up high in the sky. And they have like a little temporary super pose. I wanted to do something like that and have him maybe transform into Dyno Dad temporarily. Maybe that could be something as a little flight mechanic for him to get back into the ring or into the stage. I wanted to do something else. So he was riding a dummy train in one of the episodes in the clip that I was watching. His wooden friends that these dolls, these wooden dolls that he had that was riding in the train with him, they weren't real. He made them make believe. And they were puppets. They were wooden puppets. So I thought he can ride the dummy train as a funny animation for a recovery move. See how he rides the banana. Let's have Timmy's dad ride the dummy train that he does in the episode to guide him to safety. So I thought that would be a nice little recovery move to reference the episode itself and just the things that he did from the show. So I tried my best with trying to come up with different moves. I think he can have so much more, but I wanted to just make it more realistic and pay tribute to the episodes and not just come up with something random for this character. But that's his moveset, at least what I would like to see. And I definitely, even if none of these moves make it in, I think that battering ram will be the best move for him. It has the highest chance of getting into the game for his moveset and offensive capability. If anything, that battering ram will be funny. So I just thought that'll be a really one of the funniest moves to really pay tribute to the character. And then Eggnog itself. And then just a move just referencing the Dinklebergs. See what I'm saying? But let me know what y'all think and what you guys think about the information with the new taunts and maybe some more things they could probably do. But I just don't want to get into all the different characters, who got one and who's gonna have it. Things could change. They might not even end up adding the taunts. They might not end up having all the taunts come into the characters that were supposed to have them, and some of the characters that didn't have them might have the taunts in the game by surprise. And even some of the new characters that we might end up getting, Rocco might have one, but we don't know what their plans are for that particular character yet. We'll just have to find out sometime this fall. But I think he'll definitely be a nice addition. They don't have to, add him in, but it'll be a nice, funny Fairly Odd Parents character, a Fairly Odd Parents rep that I think a lot of people would enjoy.